Yeah!
Almost passed. There we go, we're in.
Dude! Remove it.
Freedom.
Okay. They say this thing does not fit Gen 6 big block Chevys, which is what this is. So we're gonna make it fit.
Do you think there could be a scorpion inside?
No.
That's one thing I want to avoid is getting bitten by a scorpion.
There's no scorpions here.
No? I saw that one.
It wasn't a scorpion.
Oh, it wasn't?
No. Man, this is service.
I really like the sling arrangement.
It's not even noon and we're gonna have a big block Samurai. It's 11:30.
Stop.
Stop. There we go. Oh, it's press fit. Oh man, we're gonna make this happen though.
We're gonna have to cut the whole firewall out.
Totally. Yep.
You agree?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we know what to do.
Okay, yep.
The engine's gonna have to go about the whole foot back because we need room for a radiator too.
Yeah, exactly. So let's clear out the whole interior so that we can start hacking from this side too. You ready to savage the Samurai?
I'm ready for you to show me Sawzall artistry.
We decided to go big and just cut out the whole firewall so that we can set the 440 way in there. Then we'll just fabricate a new firewall when we're done. It's easier. Boom!
It was unnecessary.
That thing is 440 ready.
But look how much more room we have for the 440 now. I think we could probably go with 440 with transmission at this point.
Really? Yeah, we could. We should.
Yeah.
Let's go get our transmission and attach it. Wow, it's a bummer I cut that brake line.
I know.
Hopefully it's only one and
That's
not like
gonna
all
be
of
the
them.
biggest nightmare of the whole install.
Let's go get the trans.
Yeah.
Looks like they surfed up our transmission.
I know.
All right, load that up and let's go.
What do you, grab the other end.
What? Oh.
You want me to heave that thing up there by myself? Oh, this tow truck is so amazingly handy.
It is.
Yeah.
This is a shorter transmission than you would find in a passenger car. The extension housing is stubby, which is good for our 80-inch wheelbase on the Sammy, but it has a bolt-on companion flange here. We're gonna have to figure out how to get a drive shaft between this and the Suzuki Samurai rear end. That's probably gonna last 10 minutes. All right, I think it'll safely pull together now, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, manifold shopping. Oh, look at that. Center dump. Straight up. See, my thought is that the pattern is the same, upside down and right side up. So I just want to get some manifolds, turn them upside down, go straight up with a pipe, done. I lost Steve, but I got us a starter and a couple of center dump exhaust manifolds. Let's see if my idea here is even gonna work. My plan is, oh, it's not gonna work. Can't put them upside down because they're gonna hit the spark plugs. Oh, that's a serious bummer with them having to point down instead of up. Oh well, live and learn. Okay, what I want to do is get the manifolds and the starter on the 440 before we even begin to drop it in, just so we have all of our obstacles eyeballed out. So let's hook it up and drop it in.
Straight back. Lower some more. Lower. Okay, come out and take a look.
Oh, wow, we have a 440 Samurai.
Oh, that moved a lot. Oh, sorry.
That's some blow. Okay. Ooh, that was a close one. Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Oh, like
Man,
butter.
you're getting good.
You should see it.
One more.
One more?
Oh, famous last words. Oh.
Okay. How does it look, Freiberger?
It looks carefully massaged. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's practically Frenched in.
It is. These are TTI headers, which is like the best. Watch this glaring endorsement. These are actually 1 3/4 inch engine swap headers just for putting the big block in the A body. This header actually fits a B&E body also, but the miracle is that it fits the A body. So it turns out the headers don't fit after all, which I would have known if I'd read either the website or the instructions for these things. The problem is that the high-deck Big Block 440 does not work when you try and use power steering, which was a luxury I was not willing to give up for this particular duster. So let the mayhem begin. This is gonna get ugly. It's only raining a little bit. I hope it gets much worse before we're done. This just stopped working.
So that oil on the floor of the truck came from the jack.
Exactly. That moment, we just won. So far, we've been pretty lucky. We haven't tried to actually hang this in the boat yet, so I shouldn't talk too soon.
These are the original mounts that actually bolted the LS6 into our truck. These will not work in our boat. Chris Starkweather over at B1 Racing in Santa Ana, California, crafted a front motor plate setup that will bolt onto the existing water pump holes and then down to the stringers of the boat. And this is how we're gonna mount this thing in. See, the thing about boats is they're super easy to work on, but there are no kits for these things. You can't go online and just order a conversion set of bolts and mounts to put one of these together.
Look at this bitchin' mid-plate. This thing was made by B1 Racing in Santa Ana, California, and it's nice. I mean, look at the mill job. The problem is, this nice semicircle is an interference fit with the flex plate. Apparently they had mocked it up on an engine that had a smaller diameter flex plate, so this is hitting. And instead of letting it self-clearance, we're gonna fire up the generator and Finnegan's gonna hit it with the flap disc and create greatness out of butchery. So it fits now?
Yeah, all that grinding I did, not necessary, it was on backwards.
I didn't do that.
When you turn it around, it's just fine. Let's not focus on who did it. Let's just focus on, hey, motor goes in boat
it's
now.
Fixed.
Yeah.
Where are the dowels? I need to smash them back
they're
in.
on the ground.
Whoa, it just chipped a big piece off the main rail.
Because it's sitting on the main rail, because it can't come my way because of the starter.
Okay.
You can grab a Sharpie, we need to mark it, we need to grind the aluminum part of it. A little more. There we go. And with any luck, that's the last time we'll need the death wheel for this installation. What is this, and does it matter?
It's important.
Man, this thing's fitting way better than we thought it would. We're just sort of battling the tiny details. We're almost past the oil pan on the crossmember. The transmission's hitting the trans crossmember. So as soon as we hack that out, we think we can angle this thing in more, and it's gonna fit under the hood, maybe. Yeah, that arm is drooping down. Yeah!
Almost passed. There we go, we're in.
Dude!
Down.
Dude!
We're in, dude.
That thing is installed!
Whoa. Let's put a jack under the back end of it.
Definitely. Wow! It bolts right up! You
Nice.
are kidding me.
Dude.
Look at that!
So much room. And there's room for a radiator, dude.
Yeah. Next up, we had to fabricate a new transmission crossmember, which meant that we needed the car up in the air. So we used Andy's super sketchy lift and made it even worse by trying to pick up the engine with the forklift and then move the car up a little with the lift and doing this dance back and forth, which, man, it's a miracle nobody died. That's going down fast, do you think?
Yeah, why is it going down so fast?
This is gonna be awesome. Ready for this? Instant lowering job. My wife's El Camino, when I tore the engine apart that came out of that, the bearings look just like this. 40, 45 years old, and you could put them right back in there.
I'm still in the disassembly stage. I haven't put on one new part. I'm just ripping stuff out of here. I think Tony and I are gonna have the front suspension done today. I don't know if we're gonna get the whole car done by tomorrow.
I'm gonna pull the pitman arm off the old steering box, and then we're gonna install that new quick ratio Borgensen unit so that when we're sitting in the garage pretending like this thing runs, it'll feel really good.
We're trying to install our first new part, which is the steering box, and naturally, it's got the wrong spline on it.
I bought the new one because I was worried the old one might be leaking, but I had never seen the car either, so. I did a lot of Ray Charles parts ordering on this deal.
Put it back on?
Yeah.
All right, let me undo what I did.
It's 7 o'clock Wednesday night, and look, pistons in an engine. And look, unlike before, when we got this car and this engine, these ones move up and down, which is what you want. There's nothing I can do to this engine because we're missing parts. I have no idea why we're putting a headliner in the car, but the nice lady that's doing it is in the car and it's on the ground, so we can't work on the suspension or the brakes. I literally have nothing to do, so I'm painting the engine black. Why not? Why not?
Yep. There you go. Runs good.
It's alive!
It's quiet.
Sounds good.
75 pounds oil pressure.
We need to go driving.
This has wheelie potential.
Yeah, it does.
I've seen this done before. Well, if the motor's gonna be in the back, let's just mount it backwards.
That's as far as the thought process had gone, but one thing we knew, putting an engine in the back can lead to wheelies. So the flathead's out.
I'm not gonna miss it.
What's the plan?
I want to put this and this in the back of this. So we just need to do, you know,
All those things.
all that.
No problem. So what we have here is 454 big block Chevy that will receive an 871 Wyand supercharger.
Came from a junkyard.
Gearstar 4L80E, which didn't come from the junkyard.
No.
And we are gonna put this thing right here and pray for wheelies. We're both like really, really stoked on this.
It's because it's dumb and dangerous.
I know. As much as I loved the flathead Ford that was in this 50 Ford truck, this is gonna be one of the most genius things we've ever done. This makes NASCARlo look stupid. This makes General Mayhem look sub-average. This makes the Rotson look like, well, the Rotson. If the sun is shining on us, this thing does wheelies.
This came out of a junkyard and allegedly made 900 horsepower in a West Tex dyno with a Pro Charger or something on it.
And you paid money for it.
I paid $1,000 for it.
Oh, this thing's doing wheelies no matter what.
I like your commitment to this.
I'm committed to this.
God, I love this.
I don't think we've had a project that both of us are this into in a long time.
Oh, you're right. This is the greatest thing we'll ever do. You might as well just end the show after this episode.
We're like 10 minutes in and we've already made a mess. That is jacked. $1,000?
Seemed like a good buy at the time.
We just used a bar stool seat as a template for our trans tunnel.
That works.
Good thing we didn't just start plasma cutting the back wall of a cab, because it would have gone right into the gas tank. Wow, this truck is mint and we are about to hack it. And for once, I have no guilt because it's gonna be so good. Why do I always take this bullet? I'm always the gas in the armpit guy. Every time.
Well, we are committed. We are gonna mount the engine directly on the center line of the axle, which is gonna put the transmission in the cab of the truck. We've marked our cutout, and as you'll see here, I'm actually gonna do the truck a favor because this is dented. This is dented. This can't stay like this. So I'm just gonna cut the whole thing out. We'll just Zeus it back together if this doesn't work. Oh!
Ooh, the magic is coming.
That's cool.
Our work here is done.
So this is a Casale V-drive. Think of this kind of like a quick change rear end. There's a gear here, a gear there. You can swap them, you can run them one-to-one, you can overdrive it, you can underdrive it. But what it really does is it takes an input shaft here on a straight plane, re-angles it this way in the opposite direction down to the propeller of a boat, but we're gonna make it work on the rear axle of our truck.
I could be wrong, but that looks broken.
So is most everything we own, I mean, really.
Are we gonna drive the whole thing through this spline?
I think so.
This just stopped being a good idea.
When it blows up, it's only next to your feet. You're fine.
I don't see this coming apart and throwing parts. It's when the drive shaft breaks and just beats you to death spinning around.
That's an issue.
Yeah. This is really good.
This is fantastic.
We're trying to install the intake manifold for the blower, and unfortunately it's not lining up perfectly. They say this thing does not fit Gen 6 big block Chevys, which is what this is. So we're gonna make it fit.
These are heavy, but they're so cool.
I know.
There's silly people out there who will, you know, when they hear about what we did, they won't understand it. But then you look at it and you go, oh, that's why you did this.
Ah, this is gonna be great. There we go. Ta-da!
So this is a bronze bushing from American Powertrain. It adapts the rear of the Hemi crankshaft to a 4th gen Camaro pilot bearing. And our puller will not pull this out. And the old trick is to put grease in there, drive a piece of bar stock in, the grease hits the back of the bearing and forces it out. We don't have any grease. I'm gonna try bar soap. Irish Spring for my peeps. I got a socket. Look at that. You know that wouldn't have worked with Dove. Oh, it's beautiful.
The day's winding down here. They're gonna throw us out of here in 2 hours. We've got this Hemi pretty much stripped, so we're gonna get as far as we can, taking parts and cleaning them up and moving them onto the aluminum block. And then first thing in the morning, we'll be throwing the new engine in. We got the bottom end all wrapped up so we can flip the thing over now. We're gonna put the clutch on and then we're gonna throw it in the car and do all the rest of the items later, right?
We're getting close.
I know.
I now announce you husband and wife.
Ruh-roh. Do you see what I see? Real bad. Okay, we just hit a major fail. The studs that go through the lifter valley, the boss is longer on the aluminum block and the stud doesn't stick out, so we can't get a nut on it. Did you notice how high we were and how far we fell?
I don't mind not sleeping. I don't, but this is, that's big.
That stops everything.
Yeah.
I'm putting in the distributor drive gear and realizing, wow, this cam has a whole lot of monkey motion in it. Realize the roller cam needs a cam button that controls fore and aft thrust, and this new setup doesn't have one, so it's all coming back apart. Boy, does that suck. Hit stop. Yes, in. Yep. There we go. Whew. That was a hassle.
So I call about the motorhome. So how much is it? $1,200. Okay. I show up. It's a lady and her husband, and I'm driving it around. It runs okay, not great, and I'm trying to bargain with her. I'm like, hey, you know, $1,200 seems kind of high. How about $1,000? No, I'm pretty firm on $1,200. All right, so I drive it around the block a few times, come back home, shut it off, and it diesels for no joke about 30 seconds straight. And it finally stops, and I go, "So you'll take 1,000, huh?" She's all, "Yeah."
And what a deal you got!
Look at it this way, I got an entire house for $1,000. Engine in, out for the first time for the last time.
Oh, you knew that was gonna happen.
Why couldn't we get a hoist with childbearing hips? This ain't gonna work.
Looking pretty solid to me. There we go.
That's one side.
Yeah, it seems like it's still... Remove it.
Freedom.
Okay. Can you try and bucket that? Too late.
It's done.
Yeah. It was a lot like a recreational vehicle archaeological dig to get the 440 out of this thing, but finally, we liberated the glorious big block Mopar. Best part though, is that we found a guy who's gonna take this thing so we don't have to cut it in a million pieces and throw it in the dumpster.
I'll be honest, we had to pay him to take it.
Yeah, but don't care.
So tomorrow, I'll go get the ramp truck, I'll load the Fury on it, I'll come here, we'll put this in the trunk of the Fury on the ramp truck, return the $400 worth of Sawzall blades, drive the whole mess to the Charger, and then
make a bigger mess there.
Pillage the Fury and the engine for the Charger.
Yep, no, that's perfect.
Everybody got that? Look at him, already stripping parts.
Ah, the Fury, my old friend. I'm here scavenging parts off the motorhome, and Finnegan just showed up with the Fury.
She's a little overloaded right now, breaking through the floor.
Oh, I know.
So right now what we're gonna do is roll the Fury back a few feet, swing the engine out of the motorhome up into the air and into the trunk of the Fury, and then tow the whole circus over to the Charger, unload everything again. Why do we make things so difficult? No one's ever parked a 440 in the trunk of a Fury on the back of a ramp truck and driven through Burbank.
I'd say start setting it down. What's the worst that could happen?
Put a hole in the fuel cell and fuel everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the world's only rear-motored 73 Fury. There, I solved that problem. Now we have to pull the engine out of the Fury and then take the transmission out.
There we go.
Or do that. Torque converter's sort of coming out with the motor, but it wanted to. Now, let's decide where this is going to sit for 6 years.
Rob's front lawn.
The transmission in the motorhome had a companion flange on the back of it instead of a slip yoke, so we couldn't use it. So that's why we're using this transmission.
You want me to lower it a little bit?
Wow, how does this leak that bad? How is that even possible? We just made a bloodbath of epic proportion over here.
Oh my God. There's a triple homicide under the Fury.
This is unbelievable. You know, the thing is, ATF is mostly a detergent, so we're really cleaning your driveway.